So we have, although the alert level says prepare to evacuate, my advice to our people is, there's no harm in going to high ground right now instead of waiting for how big the wave is or how small the wave is. As the gentleman preceding me said, the amplitude of the wave in a low-lying area could get in deeper if you're not on high ground, and you'll be hit.
Now, I didn't quite catch what you were saying about the timings. Perhaps you can just reiterate the time it is now and when you're expecting any wave to hit.
Between 5:45 and 7 o'clock. That is the time that we expect the waves to come. So we're not just expecting one wave, we're expecting a series of waves. That's what I've been told.
And the advice then is, certainly as far as you're concerned, that people should be evacuating, moving to higher ground if possible. What is the formal advice that people have been given?
The formal advice right now is that we're still on alert level 2, which is prepared to move out. Now, I would not be skimping on that. I'm not trying to put one over the government, but as far as I'm concerned, we have to learn to get used to saving our lives and not relying on alerts, which I think have not been adequately realized by the people. So it's important that we tell them, go to the highest ground you can possibly go until the government tells you to go back, and that it's safe to go back.
And
we're monitoring that right now.
And naturally, no country is going to take this kind of damage well, but it's fair to say that Japan, as an industrialized, relatively wealthy country, is perhaps better equipped to deal with this kind of impact than the Philippines would be should anything untoward happen.
Yes, well, you saw Christchurch is another highly developed country, first world country, New Zealand and Japan, and we're not as well endowed as these countries are, and that is why I'd rather err on the side of safety, on caution. That's why it's important that I have told also our people here in Metro Manila, which is not to be impacted by the earthquake, by the tsunami, to watch what's happening in Japan right now, so they can see there are fires. We have in a refinery in Japan, we have a fuel storage dump right here in the middle of the city, and if that erupts during an earthquake, if that becomes a massive fire, we won't have enough fire trucks to quell with that fire. And of course, there are threats in the city of Manila, in the whole metropolitan Manila area, of a big earthquake, because we have two fault lines. One is the Marikina fault line on the east side, and the Manila Bay fault line on the west side. And the Manila Bay fault line could trigger a tsunami that's so close to land that we won't have enough time to, prepare for. Again, we have to come in with a culture of preparation, of being able to predict and reduce the risks so that our vulnerability will be lessened and the damage will be much less.
Okay, we're very grateful for your time, Richard Gordon, Chairman of the Philippine Red Cross. Many thanks.
And we carry on watching the pictures which have transfixed us all in the course of the last couple of hours. This is the effect the tsunami has had as it's washed onto Japan's east coast in the area of Sendai, closest to where the epicenter of the earthquake was, and the power has been immense and no doubt, Humphrey Hawksley, terrifying, as we've seen from some of the vehicles, people jumping in and desperately trying to keep ahead of the waves.
Absolutely, and we're seeing the scale of it too. For example, the air bridge at Sendai Airport, where the waves came in and were almost up, and if you imagine a jumbo jet up against that, that's the sort of level of water that's just coming straight across these places and pushing away everything in its wake. And then we've got this incredible chart that tells us that in 21 hours' time, similar waves are likely to hit at the southern coast of Latin America. And here we're seeing it just moving across. You can see the air bridge there in the bottom right-hand corner. And imagine a plane against that air bridge, how high that is and how quickly your sort of perspective of what's safe and isn't just vanishes. And there it is, it's going right across the runway. Imagine that along swathes and swathes of land, hitting farm buildings, villages, cars and ships. We've seen small freighter, I think there was a picture of, that had literally been turned on its side and shoved into a street near the pier. And then amid all this, you have people that are in their houses, waving white flags, surrounded by water, alive but desperate to be rescued.
Okay, Humphrey, thank you very much indeed for that. Obviously, a major emergency from the northern tip to the southernmost point of Japan. Pretty much nobody unaffected. The Prime Minister, Naoto Kan, has been speaking about the scale of this and indeed what the situation is now.
To the people of Japan, you probably have already seen on television and heard over radio that at 1446 today, an earthquake hit of 8.4 on the magnitude scale, centered around the shores offshore Sanriku. It was a very strong earthquake. And in the Tohoku region, mainly and over a wide area, damage has been inflicted. I offer my deepest sympathy to the people who have suffered the disaster. Regarding our nuclear power facilities, some of the nuclear power plants have stopped automatically, but so far, no radioactive material or radiation has been confirmed to have been leaked to the outside. There has been no information of those lines so far. And given the situation, an emergency disaster response headquarters has been set up with myself as the head. We will secure the safety of the people of Japan, and in order to minimize the damage, the government will make every effort possible. And we ask the people of Japan to continue to be cautious and vigilant and keep tuned in to the reports on the television and radio. And we ask the people of Japan to act calmly.
So the Prime Minister, Naoto Kan, giving his response, stressing to people that they should try and stay calm and wait for further information. But as the picture clarifies, we are hearing now that at least 26 people are thought to have lost their lives, and many more people missing. Particularly, you can see Sendai there, the nearest city to where the tsunami hit, but particularly in that prefecture, that area around there, Miyagi, where many people are missing in the wake of that wall of water that has barreled its way into more inland areas as well as coastal regions.
And